Shocker Nation, welcome back for another edition of the Fink and Friends show, the 9th episode I do believe here, and today we are live. Well, gosh, I keep saying live, but we're really not live, but we're out here on the football field here on the Waterville School grounds. Actually, it's Kellen Bigger Memorial Field here at Waterville High School, and this is a special Veterans Day episode of the Fink and Friends show. Kellen Bigger is one of the former Waterville graduates who is also a veteran. And joining me on this special Veterans Day episode is also another Waterville graduate who is also a veteran, Mr. Jody Flaget. Let's give him a hand. So welcome, Mr. Flaget.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining the show. And you know, Veterans Day, students of Waterville High School and Shocker Nation in general, such an important holiday in our nation's history. We're going to ask Mr. Flaget a few questions here in a little bit, but let me give you some facts here about Veterans Day that some of you students are really curious about. Tyler Loebsack and Christian Abrahams did a great job of gathering these facts, and some of us always wonder, you know, why is Veterans Day a holiday, a federal holiday? Why do we get out of school, and why is it always on the 11th? Why can't we get out of school on a Friday or a Monday and have a 3-day weekend? Great question, actually, because for a while in the United States, we moved Veterans Day to a Friday or a Monday and created a 3-day holiday. But according to the research here, 46 states out of the 50 states kept celebrating it on November 11th and did not celebrate it on the given day. So in 1978, a law was passed to keep Veterans Day officially on November 11th for the rest of history, and that's what it continues to be.
1978?
1978 was when the law put Veterans Day back on the 11th.
Because I was born the year before on November 11th.
Oh, Mr. Flaget's birthday is on November 11th.
1977, so they figured, hey, we better start celebrating on the 11th now that I'm here.
Yeah.
I think so.
A future veteran.
Yep.
Future veteran.
I think so.
Also, some great facts about Veterans Day. Think about this, students, especially, and staff, Shocker Nation overall. We've had 16 million veterans die in their military efforts here for our country throughout the years. 20 more million have been wounded. We have nearly 20 million veterans living today, including Mr. Flaget. Mr. Lopez, Mr. Gray are also veterans here at Waterville High School. And so we really need to appreciate and say thank you to these veterans either today or throughout this week after you see this show, because you know, it's because of their efforts that we have the freedom and that we live in really a great country here in the United States. One quick tidbit too about Veterans Day: it originally was called Armistice Day, and it was created way back at the end of World War I. So we're almost coming up on the 100th year anniversary of Veterans Day, but we're a little short of that. So, Mr. Flaget, I got a couple questions here for you. Number one, how long were you in the military?
I was in the military for 6.5 years.
6.5 years. That's a long time. And now you and I have talked about this before, but the 6.5 years, were there some times in there when you were active and then when you were, I guess,
in the reserves? In
the reserves. Yeah. Okay, so.
Yeah, actually the military reserves is perfect for my profession. I get the weekends off. It's 1 weekend a month. It's 2 weeks out of the summer. Teachers don't work in the summer, so it was perfect. But I started coaching some football, coaching some basketball, and I started to compromise a little time with the troops.
Okay.
So I came to that crossroads where I think it's time to try my hat at this teaching gig and coaching gig and said goodbye to my military career.
Okay. But you could, at some point, decide to become a part of the reserves again, or not?
I have toyed with that idea, and now that my age is starting to creep up there, I'm not sure. I think 35 is the cutoff, and I might be past that. But with some previous experience, maybe they'd let me in. But now that I have wife and children, I don't think military would really fit in there.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What part of the military were you in?
I was in the United States Marine Corps.
United States Marine Corps. And
The few, the proud, the Marines.
that's right. How long did your training last?
Well, training as in boot camp, or
Let's go with the boot camp type training.
boot camp was 3 months of pleasure, and then I got to come home for 10 days. 10 days to say this is what I'm missing on the civilian life, and then I had to go back for another about 5 months before I was done and got to go to my job.
Okay. All right.
So a total of about 8 months of training, I guess.
Okay. And was there continued training then throughout the 6 years, though?
Oh yeah. I got to do some pretty amazing things. It afforded me the opportunity to pay for college. You know, my family didn't have a lot of money to pay for college, so I got some money, GI Bill. I met some of the greatest people on planet Earth, some of which I'm still best friends with this day and still in contact with, some of the greatest people on Earth. But some of the trainings were pretty cool. I got to do some cold weather mountain warfare training. Got to do a little snowshoeing and cross-country skiing and doing some cool stuff up in the mountains while learning to fight in those climates.
Conditions. Okay.
Yeah, I got to go out on the ocean on ship, which was kind of fun. A lot of desert warfare training because of our current situation. But,
Okay. Now, were you ever actually in combat?
I was not. I actually got out in October of 2002, and my unit got deployed in February. So I missed it by about 6 months or
Wow.
so.
Wow, and they were deployed to Afghanistan?
Yep.
So,
Fallujah, I think, once, and I think it might be time. I'm talking too much.
oh, no. We that's just kind of a warning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a warning. So
All right.
we've got some time here, but we're having a great discussion here with Mr. Flaget. How about this? What was the heaviest gear you ever had to carry, do you think? The load, or maybe describe it, or you know,
Like him on my pack, or like
Yeah,
the 50 cal machine gun's pretty heavy when you got the extra barrels and stuff.
Okay.
But the pack, on average, was probably about 75 to 80 pounds, depending on cold weather or warm weather or what you packed for the training mission.
That's still a chunk.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
quite a bit of weight.
that's probably about Tyler Loebsack's weight. 80 pounds.
Yeah,
Okay.
perhaps.
What do you think about, how do you celebrate Veterans Day, Mr. Flaget?
Well, we were kind of talking, the day before is the Marine Corps birthday, November 10th, so I usually kick it off by sending out a shout out to all my Marines saying happy birthday, Marines. Like I said, a lot of my favorite people on the planet are former Marines, so I wish them a happy birthday. I have a brother that was a Marine, and I wish him a happy birthday. And then on Veterans Day, I kind of write a thanks for your service to my grandpa, my brothers, some, Terry Cox here in town. He usually stops by and says thanks for your service. If I see a veteran, I thank them for their service. I'll reach out to some of the veterans that are close to me and just say, hey, thanks for your service, and thanks for my freedoms.
Awesome. Now, really quick, one last question. What kind of advice would you give to a high school student that is contemplating a service in the armed forces?
I'd say don't be afraid of it. Do your research, find a job that you want to do, and let the military pay for that job. If you want to go learn a trade or go to college and you can't afford it, military is a great way to get trained in a job and get paid to do it instead of paying to do it. Not everybody goes to war, so don't be afraid of that. There is a possibility you could get sent over there, but don't let that be the determining factor.
Excellent. I've really appreciated your time today, Mr. Flaget.
Well, thank you.
And I appreciate you as a veteran. Thank you. Okay?
Thanks for having me.
That's it for the Fink and Friends show.